should designers code isn't the question. Should designers design coding tools? That's the next topic of the Cozy AI Kitchen. So you may have heard of Visual Studio, which is the father of VS Code. Well, Visual Studio has gotten very AI-y. It's been designed to be able to use AI. We're in luck because the principal designer, who was instrumental in that, is here at the Cozy AI Kitchen. Welcome, Chef Rohan Malpani. Welcome.
Thank you, John.
All
It's
right.
a pleasure to be here.
So, Rohan, let me tell the world about yourself a bit. The kitchen listeners want to know.
Yeah, so I'm a designer. I design Visual Studio, which is one of the very popular developer tools. And I also design Visual Studio Code. And both these IDEs have now become AI-fied, like you said. And it's been fun designing it.
Okay, well, let's see that fun in action. Maybe you can start off with a little bit of cooking here.
Yeah, let's start off with Visual Studio. So one of the things that has become more popular now is writing skills. And we want all the developers to be able...
What's a skill?
A skill in the world of AI is a way to help the model develop sort of these new ways of doing things. And you can direct the model on how it should work in certain situations.
Like a recipe?
Like a recipe, exactly, like a recipe. And so creating skills has become a very important thing for all developer workflows.
Great.
So in VS, we want all the .NET developers and C++ developers to be able to create skills. And we have a way to add a skill.
A little menu there. Okay,
right.
All right.
And you could add a skill and type it out yourself manually.
Right.
One of the features that I was working on was to be able to create a skill with the help of the agent that's already there.
Okay.
And a lot of the work that I did here was directly in the VS repo. And so this is an example. I'll run it. And as it is with AI, hopefully this will work. And this is just a generic create skill where it's doing some thinking.
Helping you build a skill.
Exactly. And so it's asking me a few questions which are very important, like what kind of skill do you want to create? And so let's say that for now, I want to create an add unit tests. It should also ask me, how do you want the skill to operate and the name of the skill and so on. And so this is
very Visual Studio, like it helps you along the way with wizards like this, right?
Yes, yes. And with a lot of these new things with AI, we think that developers do need a little bit of hand-holding at the beginning at least.
Right.
And then this one allows you to select if you want the skill to work at the repo or just your user profile that you can use for all the projects.
Right. Great.
And then once this is done, it should basically go off and create a skill.md file, which is the format in which skills are written. That helps the model understand the skills better. And once it's there, the model will just start using the skills in whatever it's doing.
So you can reuse the recipe.
Yeah, you can reuse the recipe, and here it is. This is the skill. And it wrote a whole bunch of stuff here that you can go and manually edit, or you can continue iterating in this chat itself, and you can make the skill that you want the model to have.
Well, I know many Visual Studio users are elated that this is now possible, right?
Yeah.
They've been waiting for a long time.
Yes, and we are just adding tools after tools for developers to be able to use in .NET and in VS in particular.
And Rohan, you also live across VS Code as well.
Yeah.
That's been about that.
Yes, of course. So VS Code is the other IDE that we have that a lot of developers use, and in VS Code there's a new window called the Agents window.
Agents window.
Yeah. So Agents window is a way for you to manage a lot of your agents that you work with in parallel, and you can have different projects and so on that you can work across. So I'm just going to show how to get to the agents window real quick. So if this is your standard VS Code.
Well, you got a button right there.
You have a button right here, and you also have a button at the top right that you can click to open the agents window.
Right. And is this agent limited to one coding harness or multiple ones? Or
no, this one has support for multiple coding harnesses. So I use Copilot CLI a lot, but it also offers other harnesses like Claude.
Yeah, Claude.
And a harness essentially is a setup.
Harness?
Yeah, it's a setup of a bunch of tools and how your system should interact with the model and so on, and that Claude has a different harness versus Copilot.
What's the difference between a harness and a skill?
That's a good question, John. I'm going to try my best to explain.
Go for it. They're waiting for it.
A skill is mainly, like you said earlier, a recipe of how a model should go do a certain thing, because not all the models know everything that you're trying to do. And a harness is a set of capabilities that the model is given, access to tools, access to certain services, and how it should work in an agentic loop. And that is sort of the kind of the secret sauce that the harnesses provide. And together, you can really build systems that work really good for you.
That makes sense. The harness is kind of like the CPU.
Yeah.
And the different components are skills and tools. And
That's-
so it can make sense.
That's right.
Got it. Okay. Let's use this Copilot CLI harness.
Yeah, so what I have here is one of the things that I feel as a designer, myself and a whole bunch of other designers are also doing, is using the tool to build the tool itself, especially in the developer space. So I'm using the agents window to build the agents window.
What? Wait. You're saying you're going to use the agent window of VS Code to build that? Can you explain again?
Yeah, so because this is sort of the modern IDE, and I have access to the repo, I can simply pull that in. The agent understands the repo very well. And so I can think about new experiences that I want to build and ask the agent to go build it in the repo directly. And the benefit is I can test it right away.
It's like the Inception movie or something.
It is pretty much like an Inception movie.
Okay, let's go.
So I've done some work here. So there's a concept we have in the agent session, which is a subsession. And you can create multiple subsessions when you're working on something, because you often have different ideas you want to run in parallel and get a sense of it. But we've recently got some feedback that this is a bit confusing in how the subsessions are structured and so on. And so I collaborated with AI. And I collaborated with the agent here to go do that work. And I've kind of summarized everything, which means that it is able to tell me what was before, because it has access to the repo.
Right.
It can tell me what is going to be after I give it my idea of what to implement. And it can also show me the behavioral changes that are going to happen as a result of this new experience that I build. And then it, of course, goes off and thinks of different scenarios where we should check and make sure that this new experience works.
Right.
So that's good, and the benefits that the users have at the end. And of course, there's a lot of stuff from an implementation perspective that it has access to. So it can give me all of that.
As a designer, and you have a lot of programming skills yourself, though, how do designers work in a way that they can feel the code is being created safely?
That's a very good question. I think we all have this at the back of our mind every time we use agents to go write code. Every repo has standards and security principles that you have to follow. And we have an amazing engineering team that have gone and written skills to go help with the security aspect. They have written agents that you can use to review the work that you've done. And all of these things are written by these engineers who are extremely talented, and they have done this year after year. And so it's brought into life using the skills and agents.
I see.
When that happens, when I write code, at first I don't pay attention much to what code I'm writing, but then there comes a point where I want to make sure that what I've written is good. And so I run it through security passes. I run it through accessibility checks to make sure what I've built is good. And I also run it through localization. So if there are strings and I want it to work across different languages, so that's the other thing. And of course, there is a PR review agent. And so I use that to make sure all the edge cases are covered, all the test cases are written, and all the evals that the feature goes through has been met.
Oh, that's really great. It's not just like vibe coding and you hope it's going to work out. It's like saying, I'm going to go on a trip across the country with my car that I've never taken to the shop to check, or check the tires, or know where to stop along the way that is safe versus not safe. I'm just going to vibe drive myself across the country. Everything is going to be okay. What you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there may be moments where you feel like you're vibe coding it, but when you're doing it for a real product, you often have that lens of making sure that the code is secure and good performing, like it should not cause regressions and so on. And with the help of agents now, you can test those things very quickly and very easily.
Wow, I just want to pause. This is so profound, because you're basically saying the thing that I haven't heard many people say, which is vibe coding is a quick way to build a prototype, and vibe engineering may seem kind of flaky, but a professional, whatever we call this, agentic coder isn't vibe coding.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot more. They're figuring out so many ways to get to the place so it's safe. They're doing the checks along the way.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, exactly. And I think I feel like we are all still doing kind of a similar job, but at a much more efficient manner, because you can now use AI to do those checks and quality assurances very easily. I think how you build software, a lot of the principles still remain the same.
Yeah, so like the average designer might build a vibe code impact here. They have a long distance to understand how to do what you're describing.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So study hard. Okay, there we go. Okay.
So
let's
going back
come
to
out-
the
come out of
demo,
oven.
yeah. So when I ran this, it helped me create a new experience for the sub sessions, and I run this project right here. So there's, there is the run button for run tasks, and this is my experimental instance of the agents window, which shows me right away what the new experience looks like. So here I've moved the sub sessions into the sessions list on the left to make it more clear and solve the problem of confusion that users had at in the past. And it reduces a lot of the redundancy because these sessions are operating in the same workspace, so the number of changes and things like that are still the same at the anchor session. There are, of course, a lot more improvements we can make, and it's much faster to iterate with the code directly. And as you do that, you can also keep checking with the agents what's working and what's not working, and where are we making very big decisions, where are we changing code, and where you might need refactoring. So.
Well, Chef Malpani, this has been a delicious meal you've showed us. Now, for the designers and designer developers out there, what advice do you have for them as they want to go beyond vibe coding, like you have gone?
Yeah, I think for me, what has been the best lesson was to just have an open mind and learn as much as I can. I think as a designer, it can feel sometimes intimidating with what's happening with AI, or that you have to, know how to code. But all of these things are sort of noise in some ways. And if you just look at how it makes your process more efficient, how you can be more creative as a result, how you can collaborate with AI, I think that it is beneficial to you. It's also beneficial to the things that you're designing. So I would say that don't be afraid of AI. I think it's a good tool for us to use and learn as much as you can, because there's a lot more happening every single day. So it's very important to keep that open mind.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chef Malpani, and please follow Chef Malpani on LinkedIn. Stay tuned for the future.
Thank you.